Whenever the time comes for the Dallas Cowboys to extend Micah Parsons, the expectation is for him to become one of the highest-paid non-quarterbacks in NFL history. There's a very good chance that he becomes the highest-paid non-quarterback in the league's history, and rightfully so. All Parsons has done throughout the first few years of his NFL career is prove why he's one of the better players in the league, and there's a big contract that comes with that. He's posted at least 12 sacks in every season he's played, including 14 in 2023, 13.5 in 2022, and 13 in 2021. He has 52.5 throughout his first 4 years in the league, and that number should only continue to rise. A potential replacement for Parsons. However, if the Dallas Cowboys want to be smart, they'll go out and add another big-time edge rusher. ESPN recently predicted him to do just that in the form of Keldrick Falk out of Auburn, and edge, who is widely regarded as a top 15 pick in next year's draft. The Cowboys enter the season still needing to sign Micah Parsons to a long-term extension. While they signed Dante Fowler Jr. this offseason, Dallas needs more on the edge after passing on the position in the 2025 draft. At 6'6", 288 pounds, Falk is a versatile player who can play along the defensive line, from 3 technique to a true outside edge. He can generate pressure from inside and out, as evidenced by his 24 edge pressures and 5 interior pressures last season. Falk's size and strength would be fun to pair with Parsons' speed, they wrote. Are Parsons and the Cowboys close on a deal? Prior to the Dallas Cowboys having an opportunity to select Falk, they'll have to give Parsons his deal. It isn't a guarantee that it'll get done, but rumors have started to suggest that they expect the Cowboys and Parsons to reach an agreement on a contract in the near future. According to USA Today, NFL insider Tom Pelissero stated that both sides have discussed the average annual value, but are reportedly at odds over contract length. Tom Pelissero told Rich Eisen over the weekend that Parsons and the Cowboys know the type of contract the two sides will agree on in terms of the average annual value. However, contract length is reportedly the lone issue in the deal. The Cowboys tend to like 5-year extensions. Parsons will no doubt push for a 4-year pact, USA Today wrote. Adding Falk would be an impressive addition for the Cowboys. The soon-to-be junior out of Auburn is coming off a season where he posted 30 solo tackles, 7 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. He has 8 total sacks and is expected to have an even bigger campaign in 2025-26. For now, however, the Cowboys need to focus on making one of their own happy, which they can do by giving Parsons a new deal. And when it does get done, it is expected to make him the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history, ESPN's Adam Schefter said. It will be a huge number. It should surpass Myles Garrett. It'll give Micah Parsons that distinction. And most people believe that deal will get done at some point here in the coming weeks. The Dallas Cowboys have been seeking another playmaking receiver ever since they decided to trade Amari Cooper to the Cleveland Browns in 2022. While CeeDee Lamb has since emerged as one of the NFL's best receivers, the Cowboys knew they needed to take some attention away from their first-team All-Pro wideout. So, Dallas made the bold decision to trade for George Pickens this offseason, but before they did so, the Cowboys reportedly considered trading for another fairly expensive receiver instead. Specifically, according to Rashad Bateman, the Cowboys looked into trading for the Baltimore Ravens receiver. The interest must have been strong enough for the Ravens to inform Bateman of the Cowboys' pursuit, as he acknowledged the possibility of a trade to Dallas. Yet, for whatever reason, the Cowboys didn't get a deal done for Bateman, and the rest is history. The Ravens ultimately signed Bateman to a 3-year, $36.7 million contract extension, locking him in with Baltimore through the 2029 season. While the Cowboys moved on, it doesn't necessarily mean they won't try to circle back at a later time should they have a need for another receiver. The Dallas Cowboys have done a solid job building their roster for the 2025 season, but there are a couple spots that could use attention. The most pressing of those is at cornerback, where they have a lot of talent but just as many question marks. If Dallas were at full health, this position could be a strength. Unfortunately, they're heading into training camp with Trayvon Diggs and Siobhan Revel Jr. both rehabbing knee injuries. As if that wasn't enough, they're still trying to replace Jordan Lewis, who left in free agency. Dallas has been using Darren Bland in his role, but moving him into the slot only opens up a hole outside. Currently, Kyer Elam is slated to start, but he hasn't been consistent throughout his career. That's why they should turn to Asani Samuel Jr., who is one of 6 remaining bargain bin free agents, identified by Bleacher Report's Brent Sableski. From an on-field perspective, the 25-year-old Samuel is a former second-round pick who has already started 47 games. His game has never been predicated on physicality or being a cornerback who consistently flies up to make big tackles. He's a pure cover corner, and he played well in that particular area during the previous 2 seasons. Samuel also has his own injury concerns, as highlighted by Sableski, which is why he could be signed to an affordable deal. Samuel suffered a neck injury that required surgery, but if he's cleared medically, he could be exactly what this defense needs to find success in 2025. What have we learned about QB Jackson Dart since the Giants drafted him 25th overall? John Schmeelk. A lot, but maybe not in the ways some people might expect. While the coaches will have a great feel for how quickly he is learning the offense, there's no way for anyone on the outside looking in, even someone like me who has watched every snap he has taken in practice, to have any real knowledge of how that process is going. The Ole Miss product has had your typical rookie quarterback ups and downs, but he does not look completely overwhelmed like some rookies do in their first spring. Physically, Dart's arm is more than adequate to play well in the NFL. The touch he showed at Ole Miss has been apparent in practice. He has the ability to place very catchable balls over defenders. He is a good athlete, with the twitchiness to escape from pressure and the creativity to throw on the move. His competitiveness has also been obvious. What has really stood out for me has been his personality. After he finished his first in-person media availability during OTAs, I turned to Dan Salamone and Matt Sitak and said, "He's Captain Charisma." Everyone raved about his personality, leadership skills, and intangibles in college, and those have been apparent in how he has operated so far as a Giant. All in all, the player has matched the college scouting report. Nothing has really surprised me. Everything I thought about the player from his college tape and the reports of his personality have matched what I have seen in person. It's a good start, but there is a long way to go. Eagles first-rounder Jahad Campbell, no preference on position, just want to play football. Josh Alper, NBC Sports. The passion to play holds precedent over position for Campbell. Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio said earlier this month that first-round pick Jahad Campbell will begin practicing with the team in August when he's cleared to return from shoulder surgery, and he also offered a preview of where Campbell will fit into the team's defense. Fangio said that Campbell will be lining up at inside linebacker next to Zach Bond while the team waits for Nakobe Dean to return from his knee injury. Fangio was also asked about the possibility of trying Campbell off the edge and said that was something that any thoughts of that would have to wait until Campbell was back on the field. In an interview with the Eagles website, Campbell said his only current goal is to make that return and that he'll be happy to fill any role the Eagles have in mind. "That is for the coaches to decide, not me," Campbell said. "I'm going to give it my all no matter how they decide to use me on the field. I feel like I'm a versatile player, and I know I'm going to learn every day from the guys on this defense. It is going to be hard work. I know that. I want to be the best player I can be, help the defense, help the Eagles win games. That's the role I want to have. As far as a position, nah. Let's just play football." The Eagles' recent track record of drafting defensive players bodes well for Campbell's chances of making a positive impact wherever he lines up in the unit. NFL Insider reveals discouraging update on Commanders' Terry McLaurin, David Harrison, USA Today. No movement on McLaurin's deal isn't the most reassuring sign in Washington. We're all pretty sure the Washington Commanders and receiver Terry McLaurin's contract extension is a when, not an if, scenario. Still, every day that goes by, the panic meter goes up just a tick. Making one of his regular appearances on the Pat McAfee Show, ESPN's Adam Schefter fielded a question about the situation brewing inside the Commanders building and offered an update that is more of a no news is bad news scenario than anything. "There's no update, which is the update, and that's the problem," Schefter said about McLaurin and his negotiations with Washington. "The problem is with this particular situation, I think Terry McLaurin is going to argue that we've seen other wide receivers, who his numbers are comparable to, like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and DK Metcalf, get paid over $30 million a year this offseason. And I think the Commanders then can say, Yes, but Mike Evans, who also has had comparable numbers, is at $24 million. So there really is quite a difference and a gap between what both sides would want. Many in the media have projected McLaurin's extension to put him in the $30+ million range per year. So if the Commanders are trying to get him to take an Evans-like deal, then that could be where the hang-up is for sure. Of course, McLaurin's team would also argue that Evans was 31 when he signed his current deal, while he doesn't hit 30 until this September. Also working against Washington in that argument is the presence of receiver Chris Godwin with the Buccaneers, who also took a deal in the $20 million range per year, but provides a bona fide second option when healthy to take coverage and pressure off of Evans. While Deebo Samuel is expected to provide some of that for McLaurin this season, it is yet to be proven that will pan out the way everyone believes it will, and even then, neither man is under contract beyond 2025 currently. Despite this non-update of an update, there is still little reason to be alarmed, as Schefter himself also went on to agree. There is little doubt McLaurin and Washington will come to an agreement, even if it takes some time to get there.